Tonight I want to talk a little bit about the first fruits. And tonight we do it once a year, we take up our first fruit offering. And if you've never heard of this before, just hang on, I'm going to explain it. We're going to go through it because there's something so powerful and potent about bringing the first of what we have at the beginning of a year and bringing it to God. And so we're going to go through it. If you have your Bibles, let's open up to the Book of Leviticus, please. Oh, Jesus, the Book of Leviticus. Chapter 23. And verse 9. When God established a relationship with man on a grander scale, he did it with the children of Israel. And he actually told them certain things that were important to him. When Jesus came, he presented a new covenant which didn't include animal sacrifice because he became the blood sacrifice. But we find in places like this, we actually find things that matter to God. And we've been tapping into this over the last few years, and this, what I'm talking about tonight, is not designed to take money from anybody. If you've been hurt in church with money and you're suspicious, just keep stuff closed. You don't have to do anything here. But if you want to have a moment with God, then we're going to go through a little journey tonight and we're going to see something awesome. I've personally watched with this particular offering. This particular offering has opened up the heavens over my life and over our family, over our businesses, over our finances, but so much more than that, because it's not just about money. Over relationships, over destiny, over callings, chains and things that have tried to slow us down have literally broken off. Okay, so let's just go here. Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 9. And the Lord spoke to Moses saying, "Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, when you come into the land which I give you and reap its harvest, then you shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest to the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted on your behalf. And on the day after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it." Verse 12. And you shall offer on that day when you wave a sheaf a male lamb of the first year. In other words, a young lamb without blemish as a burnt offering to the Lord. Its grain offerings shall be 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil, an offering made by fire, which is what they're talking about, bread here. Oil and flour make bread in fire. For a sweet aroma, and its drink offering shall be wine 1/4 of a hin. Now, this is actually talking about different kinds of offerings all coming together to be brought before the Lord. Verse 14. This might not make a whole lot of sense. If you haven't heard this before, just hang on, I'm going to explain it. Verse 14. You shall eat neither bread nor parched grain nor fresh grain until the same day that you have brought an offering to God. Now, just so everyone understands what's being said here in verse 14, it's talking about fasting. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations in your dwellings. Okay, just stop right there for a second. There's 3 things that you can notice here that are happening. There's fasting, there's praying, and there's offerings. Now this month we've all been fasting in one way or the other. There's been fasting taking place as we've dedicated this year to God with our fasting. We've been praying into something, and I want to tap into something tonight. Bex and I do that, and it's for all of us to tap into, for us to get something from God where we can honor him. Okay, so Malachi chapter 3 and verse 8. Will a man rob God? This is God's opinion here. I like to pay attention personally when God starts talking because he's God. And I like to study, like, what's his attitude? Like, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, I try and pull out, like, who is this Jesus? Because Jesus is a reflection of the Father. And he said that if I've seen him, I've seen the Father. So who is this Jesus? How does he talk to people? How does he interact? How does he treat people? What's his heart? And so you start pulling. So when I see God talking, I just try and pull on it because I'm like, what do you really feel? Because although God relates to us differently in the New Testament as opposed to the Old Testament, because of Jesus, he still has the same feelings as a personality. And so we see that here. It's just filtered differently now, but I want to get to what pleases God, because if I can be a friend of God and if I can do what pleases him, then God will pour out all his goodness on me. Come on, somebody. And the things I've been fighting and not winning against are going to now start to become my footstool. Will a man rob God? This is God speaking. Yet you have robbed me. And you say, but God, in what way could have we possibly robbed you? God responds, in tithes and offerings. So what that really means is that God believes that tithes and offerings are his property. Oh, well, I earn $600 a week. No, you earn $540 a week. The first $60 belongs to God. Isn't it funny how the devil will try and get you to believe, I pay my bills first, I need to go out to like a nice dinner with friends because I'm worth it, and I need to pay my payment on my car and my rent and everything else, and I had $3 left to give God. Yeah, God, thank you, there's your little tip. I gave the waiter at my table more, but you're worth it, God. And what we do is we stack our life in such a way where God gets the dregs. Now, I have to tell you that God won't even accept that stuff. It doesn't even count, because God basically says, oh, I see what you did there. You've seen those memes? I see what you did there. God's like, I see what you did there. And God can't receive it because it's not actually spoken from here in love and honor. I'm just trying to get us all of us, if every person in this room can get what I'm saying tonight, your life is going to change. Because I know everyone here loves Jesus, or is getting to know Jesus. And if you don't, come and see me at the end and we can talk about that, because you need Jesus. He's real and he's awesome. But here's the thing. We grow and we go like God from glory to glory. That means that where I am right now, I'm happy about, because I wasn't there a year ago. But where I'm going to be in a year can't be where I am right now. So in order for that to happen, I need to sow seeds into the field of my life that cause increase. The kingdom of heaven has its own banking system. You guys need to get this. And it's not like the way we've been taught since we were born. Get a job, live cheap, save all your money, buy a house, don't give anyone anything you don't need to. We've been taught that. That is Beelzebub. Mr. Satan. Okay? Jesus came and gave everything he had away freely, and he harvested the world. Jesus, get this, guys. This first fruit thing, God lives this thing out. Jesus was the only begotten Son of the Father. He was what we could say the first fruits of God, sown to us. And God saw it fitting that we were an acceptable harvest. I can't even get that, but it's amazing. This thing that God's asking us to do, he does too. God is the most amazing economist, business person you've ever met. And in order for us to get things his way, we need to do things his way. Make sense?